Hello my beautiful ladies, how are we all today? I have had so many questions about brushes, what brushes do what, how to use contour, what's better, powder or cream. So I said I'll pop on and I'll do a quick contour video. So I'm not going to keep you too long, and if you don't catch the live, you'll catch the replay. I have a selection of brushes. I'm going to go through everything that they do, and I have a cream base contour and a powder base contour, and then I have cream highlighters and powder highlighters. So I'm going to show you how they look with the different brushes. I already put a little bit of foundation on, so I literally did 1 drop of foundation, 1 drop of the glow drops, put it all over my face, a little bit of primer on my eyes just to show you the difference of if you set your eyes first, the colours that you put on will look a little bit stronger. So I'm going to show you with a cream contour. So when you want to contour your face, you want to look at your face in the mirror, figure out what shape it is, and figure out what you want to emphasize and what you want to go backwards. So whatever you want to decrease. So I want my cheekbones to look a little bit higher. So I want this area to decrease, and how I'll do that is by putting the contour there. I want my nose to look slimmer. So how I'll do that is putting the contour down the side of the nose to make it appear slimmer. Now, makeup, as I said, is not a magic wand. It's not surgery. It's only a trick of light. So the more you put on, the less natural it's going to look, and the more you're going to look like a clown. So we want to go little is best in this instance. So I'm going to use cream one here. I'm going to find the nip of my ear and just do a little squiggle of the contour. I'm going to come down the outside of that nose, and I'm going to do cream on this side and powder on that side. And I also like to define around my hairline and into the temple. Again, anywhere I put dark is going to look more sculpted, and I also like to come down my jawline just because I have a bit of a square face, and these little jowly bits here I don't like. If I wanted, I could go all down my neck and all down my décolletage and all that kind of stuff, but I don't want to do that today. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to use a stiff head angled brush because that's going to sit into that crevice nice and easily, and I'm going to just push it into position. So I'm not dragging yet because I don't want to bring any of the dark from outside here into the corner of my mouth. I just want to work it into the position that I've put it. If you don't want to go as much as I'm going, I would use a sponge that's a little bit damp, and that will look a little bit more sheer for you guys. So I'm just using, hi Marion, I'm just using this brush to work it in, patting it into position. And again, I know it's a little bit dark at the moment, but don't worry, I'm going to buff that out, but I'm just buffing it into position at the moment. I'm working it in around my hairline. So when I get to my hairline, I'm working outwards towards the hair. And just because it's a cream based one, it's a little bit more forgiving on your skin, especially if you're like me and you're in your 40s. So once you get into your 40s, I kind of tend to stay away from the powders as much as I do I do love powders. I kind of stay away from them a little bit because they sit in the lines and wrinkles and they emphasize them a bit more. Okay, so I've got it worked in. Now I'm going to get a big fluffy brush and tiny circles, and I'm just going to buff that. Hi Nave. Yeah, this is especially for you, Nave. You've been asking me about cream contour. So I'm buffing it into position. Tiny circles with the brush. So I'm taking off a lot of the products with these big brushes. Yeah, a darker shade of foundation is exactly what I use, Marion. Or a creamy, lightweight concealer is what I would use for doing my contour. And because this is a big fluffy brush, it's going to take off a lot of the product and leave just a wash of the colour behind. And that's what I want. I just want a wash of the colour. I don't want too much. And I want it to look like skin. Okay, so I know it looks a little bit funny, but you can see now this looks more sculpted than that side. This looks more sculpted around the hairline and around the jawline. Looks a little bit more sculpted. When I start adding in the highlighter, it's going to definitely make a difference. So as I said, I literally just have a tiny bit of foundation, like half a drop in with my glow drops, because I want my skin to look like skin. And because I'm going to be using contours and highlighters, they're going to be adding cream on cream or powder on cream, and it's just going to heavy it up, and I don't want it to be too heavy. So that's what I've done so far with light foundation. And then my contour is a cream foundation, darker, 2 or 3 shades darker than the foundation that I have on my face. And literally I've come like in the number 3. Buffed it in with a big brush, taking off the bulk of the product and just leaving a wash of the colour behind. Now I'm going to go in with a powder. Again, I'm going to use a stiff contour brush. It's an angled brush, and I'm going to use the contour. So this is just a bronzer, a dark brown, similar to what I used in the cream. I'm going to tap off the excess, find the nip of my ear and push it into position. So with powders, I tend to work it in a little bit at a time, because if I go too heavy-handed with the powder, it's very hard to get rid of that harsh line. So again, it's still that number 3 that I'm doing, and down the sides of my nose. So you can see how sharp that line is, whereas this one's a little bit more buffed out. So now I'm going to need a big fluffy brush again to buff out the powder. But the powder won't be as pliable as the cream. It'll still be that little, you can still see there, it's that harsh line. So for our age group, girls, that's why, hi Nicola, that's why I prefer the creams. You can see the cream, much more natural. The contour with the powder is much stronger, and it will take a lot more work to buff that in. If, for instance, I had used like this kind of fan, really fluffy brush, I would get more of a natural application. But the problem is, because the brush is so big, it's going to cover so much of it in area. So that's why I use cream contour, or I like to use cream contour a little bit more than I do the powders. And now what I'm going to do is highlight down underneath my eye. So the highlight against the contour is going to give that really sculpted look. So again, it's just a creamy based highlighter. If I want that sculpted look, I do come down in a V underneath my eye, like a triangle. So if I draw the triangle, I always use a concealer that is really lightweight. Again, it's only because of my age. If I was a little bit younger, so if I was in my 20s, I could definitely get away with a heavier concealer. I'll come down through the centre of my nose onto the tip of my nose. And then I'll use a small dome head brush. Brush up towards the temple, bring it down, and then just push it into position. Again, just by pushing it into position, it kind of sits on top of the lines and wrinkles instead of in them and emphasising them. And then I'll just use whatever's on the brush to go over my eyelids. And now I'm going to use a fluffy head brush for my eyes. So I'm going to use the powder bronzer as my eyeshadow and just push it in to the bone. So I'm basically contouring my eyes. So you'll see this one is going to look a little bit lower. This one's going to look a little bit higher when I put the contour there. So I'm putting the contour onto the actual bone. Tiny circles. Over and back like a windshield wiper, just to push it into position. So yeah, you can see this eye is much higher. Now I'm going to use the highlighter on another fluffy brush underneath the highest point of my eyebrow, and the same highlighter onto the ball of my eye to bring that area forward, make this area recede and make that area higher. So that's the whole point of contour and highlight, is to just basically give a trick of light and make the areas, the darkness makes that area go backwards and the brightness comes forward. So I'm going to use the same powder contour on the bone of my eye. So if you've got really heavy set eyes, so if they're down like that, I would pull up and just push it in onto the bone and just above the bone as well. And don't worry if you go too high up into the eyebrow, just wipe it off with your finger afterwards. It's just to give that illusion of a higher eye. It's like free Botox, girls. So if I use my finger, if I've gone a bit too high, I can just wipe it away and then go in with my highlight right into that high point of the eyebrow, and then the highlight onto the lid of the eye, so just where your eyeball is. I will also put that contour underneath my bottom lashes, just to round off the eye, make it appear more open. And again, if you've blue eyes or green eyes, it will really make the blue in your eye stand out. So mine will kind of look a little bit more aqua now than they did beforehand. So again, I kind of feel like I've gone in a little bit too heavy-handed in there, so I'll just wipe it away with my finger. Don't be afraid. If it comes off, it comes off. You can just put it back on. But like, less is more. You can always add to it and you can always take it away. So I'm going to use that big fan fluffy brush. I'm going to use my highlighter on that now and just do the top of my cheekbone and down the centre of my nose. And then I'll use the same fan brush to give a nice fake smile and bring colour to my cheeks. Work up towards your temples. I feel like I should be going to a nightclub now, girls. What do you reckon? So what do you think of the difference? So the difference, I really find that the lower, deeper set. I was going to ask about lower deep set eyes. Okay, yeah. So don't be afraid, Neve, to go a little bit higher, especially if they're low down. So if I do this, what happens is a lot of the skin will cover where the eyeshadow should be. So when you have your eyes open like this, it looks like you've loads of eyeshadow, but then when you relax, you can only see a little bit. So don't be afraid to go a little bit higher. I really do think though that especially for our age group, girls, and I don't keep meaning to harping on about it, I'm 43. I know Neve is near enough the same age as me. Marion's a few years younger than me, but I think anyone, once they get over the age of 30, should probably start steering towards the cream foundations, the cream contours, and steering away from the powders, unless it's nighttime. It's just because the powders will sit inside the lines and wrinkles and make them appear a little bit deeper, and we don't want that. So that was my little contour for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully the Amaze boxes are arriving soon, and I really, really hope to see you all on Friday, because it's going to be absolutely amazing. We're going to have spot prizes, we're going to have Ask the Experts, we're going to show you how to make skin cocktails and drink cocktails, so it's going to be brilliant. If you didn't buy an Amaze box and you want to get in on the VIP gig, you need to just buy one product. Any product, doesn't matter how much it is, but you just need to buy one product from your beauty guide. So get in contact with them today, because this party you don't want to miss out on. It's going to be full of fun and laughter and great. It's just going to be brilliant, so don't miss out, and I'll see you all on Friday. Have a fabulous day.